morning, everyone. It's Yvonne here to do your What's Cracking reading. A couple of things, of course, before we get going. The first one being thank you so much for your support. The second one is we have a fair at Goulburn this weekend. If you're in that area, their pre-bookings are now on. I think there's maybe 5 of us on hand to do readings. So if you're interested in that, just check out my Facebook page, or you can email me and I'll put you in touch with Danielle from the Living Wellness Fairs. I am now back on 2 days extra or additional every week. Sometimes I won't be available on a Friday because Fridays are my days that I do travel home, but some Fridays I'm available, but I'm now available Wednesday, Thursday. I do hope by next week I'm feeling that I'm ready to do some lives again, so I'll be back on giving some live readings again. Most likely will stay at a similar time frame as I was doing them before, but I'll see how it goes this time. All right, let's have a look. We're going to use the Rider-Waite Tarot for your reading. All right, let's see where we're going. Oh, you know, there are some cards that come out and I think, wow, I just love the way that certain readings start, and this one's always super. The Strength card for me is about working with your dark side. It's about making yourself a stronger version of who you are. You know, sometimes we sort of have those triggers or those epiphany moments which sing out for us to go and do something about the way we're feeling or the way we're responding to things. And it means that, you know, that dark side of us that we've tried to keep hidden for so long now needs to be brought out into the light. I don't think all your shadow needs to be. I think that you can work with a certain amount of your shadow. Maybe they're not attributes you feel particularly fond of, but maybe there are some things about yourself that you're just willing to accept. But the Strength card tells me that you've been doing a lot of inner work. And to be honest with you, most people I read for have at some stage or another, you know, prior to having a reading with me, have realised that, you know, we have these quirks and these things we've carried around for a very long time that we see as a part of us, but we don't particularly like. And sometimes that means just being aware of them, because I always think if you have an awareness of one of those, I don't even know what to call them, like traits that you have that you don't particularly feel comfortable with. Say, for example, jealousy, anger, and it comes to the surface to be dealt with. And, you know, it may feel really uncomfortable with us, but there comes a point where we have to address that. And when the Strength card comes to the top, it tells me either you're in the process of addressing something, you are addressing your shadow side, or you're about to change something here. There's an ending coming through. Now, I'm a great believer in metaphysical illness. So when people say to me, I've got a sore shoulder, sore back, sore leg or whatever, I'm always up for looking up why that is. Sometimes when we carry a bad back or we're walking around with a bad back, it means we're carrying too much worry and stress that we need to work with. Very often, just acknowledging that in your body and saying to your body, I acknowledge that you've been doing it really tough, is enough for you to start being conscious of that. And you might sort of let down your shoulders, or you might sort of, you know, free up your body a little bit. But certainly something here is coming to the top to be dealt with. The Magician is here, and this is really nice because I want to say to you, no matter what you're dealing with here, no matter how difficult it is, whether that is a difficulty or not, some of us really take pleasure on working on ourselves on some of those things that we feel we're not comfortable with. The Magician is here to tell you that you have everything you need to address this. You know, sometimes we think, oh, maybe we need a counsellor, or maybe we need a life coach, or maybe we need to talk to someone, and that's fine. But often we need to use our own skills. If we're ready and the onion's been peeled back, then we are ready to get through to the next level. And the universe here is saying it's not only time, but it's time to put in that work on yourself that you are feeling uncomfortable with. There is nothing worse than carrying a stress around with you that you know you can deal with. We've all done it. You know, you hate your job and you every day get up and you think, I hate my job, I just want to do something else. but you continue to do it because you don't know how to face it. You don't know how to strip it back. You don't know how to, you don't feel confident enough maybe to get something else. This card tells me that you are realizing here that you have some sort of duty to you. You don't have a duty to others. Unless you've got dependent children, you really don't have any duty to anyone else. While you're at work, you may have duty for your employment, but that finishes when you finish work. So there is something here that you are recognizing within yourself here. This is just beautiful. Okay, so there is a really strong feeling here. This is something that you are learning about yourself that has kept you out of balance and off guard for a really long time. Somehow with this King of Cups, I'm feeling like for many of you it may be a sense of loving yourself. It may be a sense of keeping your emotions to yourself or your feelings to yourself, I should say. But somehow or another here, I am feeling that you are acknowledging or gifting to yourself something that you haven't done before. Simplified. And you know me, I like to tell the stories. I like to bring the energies through to help you see what's happening. Sometimes we can go a very, very long time and just live with whatever internal glitches that we have, because we may deny that we are worth more. We may deny that we're not worthy of something more. And there is a point where you start to realize how people have either been taking advantage of you or that you've been giving yourself over unfairly to yourself. There's a little sort of energy within me that wants to share something with you, because I tend to have come from a very sort of strict family where I grew up thinking I had to be responsible for everything. And I really didn't understand that responsibility. I would get angry with people when they drove badly on the roads. I would get angry with people when they voted or followed people that really weren't what I saw as good people. And I said to somebody yesterday, which sort of makes me feel like I need to review things too, is that sometimes we grow up and we have a self-righteous attitude that says to us, everybody has to behave the same way as we do, or everybody has to have a big heart or compassion or empathy or generosity as we do. And the biggest learning in life is understanding that people are different. And what is your way of seeing the world may not be somebody else's. And that self-righteousness is one of the hardest things to see in yourself, because it's so hard to finally see that what you've been thinking or feeling all along is maybe not as it is. So when they talk about your internal world reflecting your outer world, that's one of the biggest examples I can give you. And I feel like here that when you start to remember that, you take so much pressure off yourself. You take so much pressure off the amount of control you need every day to control everybody around you. The people who are driving badly, the people who throw cigarettes out of their cars, you know, in the middle of summer, the people who are abusive, the people who are mean and nasty on social media, the people who constantly look like they have to fight for everything instead of just sort of coasting through life as they should. And I feel like this is something that's happening here. It's almost like you're starting to realize how to give that love back to yourself. You may not have got it right in the past, and that's fine. You've got a chance to get it right now for you. All right. So the Justice card for me, the Justice is in what I've just said, I guess. But the Justice card is very much about karma for me. It is about us being on a path where we have to learn lessons along the way about who we are. You know, some people will try to sell themselves all the time, and in selling yourself sometimes you come off as not being honest with what you're saying. The Justice card for me is about that karmic energy, about understanding that we all have a journey, and for each one of us it's unraveling very, very differently, as it would be for somebody else. You know, other people have their own lessons to learn. Some people refuse to learn lessons. They refuse to change. I hear it often. I'm too old for change. I've been like this for a long time. Why should I change? Then if that's the case and you're comfortable in your own skin, that's fine. You know, if you're comfortable to be the person you are. But this karma, it will keep nagging at you until you get that lesson right. And some people say it to me. They say to me, I always say, you know, like meeting relationships and always meeting the same person with a different face, or, you know, a lesson that you have to keep repeating until. I see other people do it all the time. You know, you get abused all the time, you know, people riding you for everything they want. And then all of a sudden you realize that you're repeating that pattern because you need to stand up for yourself. You need to speak up for yourself. Anyway, so it's showing me that there's some sort of karmic lesson that you're going through that will help you to see yourself in a different light. Look, this for me is cycling in pain. It's that going round time and time again, feeling it, but not prepared to do something about it. You're just not prepared to take up that 10th wand. All right, so for some of you, this is very legal for me. You could have some sort of legal issue going on where you are fighting for something that perhaps you've fought for time and time again. This sort of energy makes me feel like you've constantly got people working for you who take advantage of you, or you're constantly bullied when you do things. So there's a real strong energy here of repeating a pattern that you need to cut out. And there's the Empress. That's about loving and respecting yourself for who you are. Ultimately, as I say, these cards don't have, you know, male or females attached to them. This is about the energy that you're giving off. Maybe you're a very soft person. Maybe you don't feel that you can toughen up. Maybe you don't feel like you can speak up for yourself. And that is who you are. But what is the point here of that boundary, of setting that boundary if you're going to allow people to treat you poorly? Something needs cutting free here. All right, Two of Cups. Some of you, it might be relationships, but it certainly looks to me like this relationship here, you're closely taking a look at it. There is something here you realize is out of balance, maybe in a marriage here. Something that you realize that is out of balance. Because you're looking at it very, very closely here to see why it's out of balance. So maybe you've seen the pattern, you've seen the cycle, but you just need to understand why it's happened to you. Sometimes it can take you a really long time. Some people are really, really manipulative and cunning. You've created some sort of illusion for yourself here. And what comes to mind straight away with the Three of Swords is that illusion that you can't hurt other people because of the way you're feeling. Now, I don't mean you can't go and, you know, do something dastardly to somebody else. Perhaps that's completely out of character. But this sort of energy comes through of, you know, I can't do that, I might hurt their feelings, or I can't do this because I might hurt their feelings, when in reality you are hurting your own feelings, which says you're codependent, because what you're doing is you're loving and respecting other people's value above your own. And I guess this is where it really comes through. You know, sometimes people will say to me, you know, I can't speak up to that person because I don't know how that's going to affect them and what it will happen in their life, when in reality, speaking up could change that whole relationship. It could turn the whole relationship around. But taking that pain on yourself, when is your own pain less valuable than the person's pain that you're worried about? And that's why I always say to people, ask yourself why. We've all done it. We've all come from that energy. It's just that some of us have realized, hey, you know, why am I so worried about hurting them when this whole situation is hurting me? I can't speak up. I can't tell somebody how I feel because I'm scared of rejection. I'm scared of the repercussions. I'm scared of the conflict here. And yet you continue to do what hurts you. You know, it's that whole take a look in the mirror. You hold as much value as the next person. All right, and then we have the Knight of Wands coming through here. I feel like change is coming through for you fairly quickly here. There is something that you need to change and something you need to sort of level up on. I feel that you are where you need to be with this Magician. You are certainly following your path here. There is some sort of, this is you giving yourself self-love here and bringing some sort of balance back to yourself. And I feel here, especially with this King of Cups energy, that maybe you don't give yourself the love and the attention that you really deserve. And this is not about going out and having a massage. It's not, well, that may be part of it, but this is about understanding your own boundaries. Is somebody tramping on your boundaries here and you can't enforce them because for some reason you're worried about their feelings, but you allow them to hurt yours? Because something is going on here. Now, for some of you, this could be in a marriage or a commitment where you've got a partner who treats you really poorly, but you don't see it for yourself. And maybe you don't speak up because you're scared of damaging the marriage or you're scared of hurting the relationship. But to me here, this is what you're learning to do. You are learning that you have the value. You have just as much value as the next person. All right, let's pull an oracle card. There it is. Oh, deep diver. You know, we had this yesterday, I think. This is about really taking a look at something from a very deep level, and a beautiful card to get on this reading. This is not skimming over the shallow water and just hoping something may go away. This is spending time in your own energy and having a look at how people treat you, the respect you get. Like, those sort of things are so important when you get this card through. I always think sometimes taking a deep dive can be a little bit painful. You have to look at what your part is in things, which sometimes is uncomfortable. But unless you can understand yourself at this deep place, it's really hard to work on that energy. But sometimes people just reflect back to us what we need to see. And that is the greatest thing. When you feel triggered by something, then you really need to go away and sit on what is it about that situation that cuts so deep for me? What is it I need to learn from this? And that's what I think you're doing here. I'll leave you with that. Thank you.